Hamilton Radio, My Sports Radio.
What's going on, everybody? August 12th, Wednesday. We are creeping towards the end of the summer. So if we're going to do it, we're going to do it in a big way. We have a lot of sports on the docket today, and we're even diving into NCAA. But to do it, I have a co-host with me today, the host of Simply Sports, Mr. Connecticut himself, Andy Williams is in the building. What's going on, brother?
John, first of all, it's an honor to be here. And like you said, we have a ton on the plate to get to. And there was even a ton that went on yesterday in all facets of sports.
Listen, man, it's Andy, it's good to have you on.
Thank you.
Thank you for making the drive.
Absolutely.
We seem to always find ourselves after the show talking about things. You'll sort of send me what's going on here or there. We have a lot of similarities. I didn't know this. Andy's actually a Cowboys fan.
Yes.
He's a New York Rangers fan.
Indeed.
But he is a New York Yankee fan.
Amen.
I'm a very sorry, depressed Mets fan.
It's okay.
Yeah. So it is what it is. Listen, sometimes I gotta be consoled. It happens. This is what's it's my whole life. But guys and girls, we have an action-packed show. You're joining us here on Hamilton Radio, and this is My Sports Radio. And if you don't know, now you know. You're with your boy John Antel. So let's get this show going. Andy, I want to start out with hockey first.
Can we please?
Hockey, the greatest playoffs in the world.
Absolutely. And the two greatest words in the history of sports would be Game 7 in hockey.
Yeah.
So
listen, I mean, we're headed down a great path. Unfortunately, the path doesn't have our Rangers, right? We're going to get into it in a little bit because it's okay. But when one door closes, another one always opens. So we're going to talk about this. But
Absolutely.
We're here playoff hockey. I made a pretty bold prediction. Andy had a bold prediction.
Absolutely.
I said Avalanche are winning. And we have game 1 tonight against the Coyotes, a very favorable matchup.
Absolutely.
And you said?
We always roll with Vegas, baby.
Vegas stomped a mud hole in the Blackhawks yesterday.
And they walked it dry.
So we're both picks looking pretty good. Obviously, as Ranger fans, we're very disappointed. There's a silver lining for all this.
Now, let me just say this as well. The Rangers. Now, I overheard that you said that they choked.
I mean, they just didn't show up.
Yeah, exactly. They did not show up.
Yeah.
But again, the future is bright with the New York Rangers across the board. Now, my problem is in that series against Carolina was starting Lundqvist in goal in game 1. I thought that was the biggest mistake that they could have made. They should have started the kid in the net.
Yep.
And that would have given them I don't know if they would have won the series, but that would have given them a much better chance of winning the series.
So for me, my biggest qualm was the stars not being stars, right? So Zibanejad, is clear as a clear-cut leader on this team,
Yep.
as he should be, and wasn't really there. Panarin, another clear-cut leader, one of the biggest offseason acquisitions, and he played his butt off
Absolutely.
this season.
Sure.
But he wasn't in the series. Wasn't there for me. Kreider, you get an extension. You're coming back off an injury. Not there, right? So my biggest issues is every team when you look at the Capitals, for instance, right?
Yeah.
You look at Ovi, you look at Backstrom, you look at
TJ Oshie.
Oshie. They have so many high firepower guys, and those are the ones that make a difference.
Yeah.
Now, the goalie is he's great. He's a good goaltender.
Absolutely.
But your leaders are leaders.
Yeah.
So for me, as a Ranger fan, you can always point the finger wherever you are. But let's be serious. I mean, the Rangers put up 3 goals in 3 games.
As a whole, yeah. It was inexcusable, and they basically no-showed.
Terrible.
It was. But I like the direction where the Rangers are going. I like how they're sort of the paleontologists are kind of getting the fossils out, and they're bringing in the youth. The goaltender from Hartford, from the AHL.
Yep.
He's getting his starts. You're starting to develop a young nucleus, and yesterday's news, the Rangers get the number 1 pick in the NHL draft.
By the way, people don't actually realize how big of a deal it is for an NHL team to hit on number 1 draft picks, just to get the number 1 draft pick in general. You have guys like McDavid and
Connor McDavid is the perfect example of a number 1 pick panning out.
absolutely
Because in Edmonton, he is a star. He is a stud. And how many years in the league has he played? This is his 2nd year, I believe.
McDavid?
Yeah.
No, I want
Or is
to
it
third. I
third?
think.
Okay.
I think third.
But I mean, just his numbers. I mean, he's getting better and better and better.
Listen to these number 1 overall picks and tell me, no one can tell me that having the number 1 overall pick does not set your franchise up.
Sure.
Austin Matthews.
Stud.
Well, Nico Hischier for the Devils. The Jack Hughes we're still waiting on, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But Connor McDavid.
Panned out perfect.
Okay. Nathan McKinnon for the Avalanche.
Really good.
Absolutely. And people don't understand how good Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is
Absolutely.
for the Oilers. Taylor Hall,
Yes.
John Tavares, Steven Stamkos,
Yes.
Patrick Kane,
Keep going.
Sidney Crosby,
Yeah.
Alexander Ovechkin, Marc-Andre Fleury, Rick Nash, Ilya Kovalchuk, Vincent Lecavalier, Joe Thornton. Guys, these are number 1 overall picks going back now year after year, subsequent years to 1997. If you are not under Eric Lindros, Matt Sundin, Mike Modano, Wendell Clark, when you had Mario Lemieux,
Hall of Famers.
all of them.
Across the board.
all of them. Hockey is one of the. It's weird because hockey is one of those sports where the talent is actually so telling and it translates, right? So
Exactly.
that it's incredible to me.
And the number 1 picks too. They mold with the team. Like every one of those names you read, they gel with the team almost instantly,
Absolutely.
and they put up numbers instantly.
Yep. And it is a big, I mean, it is a big, big deal for the Rangers to finally land the number one overall pick in the draft.
After last year when they had the number 2 pick, I believe.
Yes. Yep. Kako. And by the way, you want to talk about a young nucleus.
Mm-hmm.
Kako, Panarin, Kreider, Zibanejad, and potentially Lafreniere,
Yeah.
Alexis, who put out a statement and said when he heard the Rangers got the number one overall pick, the
Right.
NHL Network interviews him, says really good news. The Rangers are an unreal team with really good young players and a really nice city. So for sure, it's really good news, and I'm really happy. Without even being drafted, this is what you want.
Oh,
This is what you want.
this is what warms our hearts as Rangers fans right here.
Absolutely.
And the core is a combined what on average age? Not even 23,
It's got to be.
24 years old.
Yeah, I mean, Kako is got to be 19 now. Panarin's young. This is his first big contract.
Yeah.
Zibanejad is mid 20s.
Yeah.
And Alexis is 18.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm assuming they draft him, right?
If they don't, they're foolish.
They're foolish. But yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy. The Rangers had a 12.5% chance to get the number one overall pick.
Is that the highest percentage?
They were tied. They were tied with the Penguins, Predators, Leafs, Panthers, Oilers, Jets, and Wild.
Okay.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
And now all of them will be slotted. They're calling them the losers. Will now be slotted 9 to 15, according to their regular season points.
Okay.
But wow, man, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for the Rangers, and anybody who was listening to Rangers president JD, he was on the Michael Kay show.
Yes.
And he was talking to Don LaGreca, and they were talking about do they trade the draft pick, right? Do they draft them, whatever the case may be, and he was talking about the sequence of events. He said he's at home, he's in his office, man cave type of deal,
yeah.
right? And he goes, I close my eyes, and he said I didn't know what happened until my wife screamed out loud. And he said, then I knew we had the number one pick. You imagine, dude, you're the president of an organization. By the way, an organization that is a staple in hockey,
Absolutely.
right?
Any of the big six, the Rangers, the Bruins, the Blackhawks,
Yep.
Maple Leafs.
Listen, it's you imagine sitting there closing your eyes, and all of a sudden, you're waiting for a ball to be picked, right? Like, this is not like an MSR ball. This is like
No, it's not.
yeah, you're sitting there, and all of a sudden your wife screams. I could only imagine. He said, he's like, dude, I was just speechless.
Mm-hmm.
I had nothing to say. Nothing went through my mind. And it's crazy to me to think the feeling.
Now it's again, we need to point this out, and we need to reiterate this fact, as you pointed out in the last couple of shows. The Rangers have been incredibly consistent in making the postseason.
Absolutely.
It is not that they are like they're going to miss the playoffs, 7 straight years. How many times have they made the playoffs in the last X number of years? What was the number you said?
It was like 10 years and 11 out of 12 years.
11 out of 12.
Correct.
Okay. The only team that's better are the Detroit Red Wings, and they made it to the playoffs. What was it, 25 straight years?
It's absurd.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
and they kept recycling star after star after star, and it's just amazing.
that's exactly. But when we talk about it, this is exactly what is the difference between great organizations and okay organizations slash bad.
Absolutely.
The fact is you're doing something, right? You're sort of as Rangers, for some reason, I don't know why Dolan runs the Rangers so different than he runs the Knicks. I haven't gotten that yet. I haven't understood that yet. But he actually is so hands off and lets his hockey minds run the team.
Now, let me point this out too. Sean Dolan is not a favorite person of mine at all, because with myself being a New York Knicks fan and dealing with the pain and the suffering that Sean Dolan has put us through.
I mean, listen, the guy he's run the Knicks into the ground.
And it's painful. It hurts.
But at the same time, he's allowed the Rangers to be great.
Exactly.
And I don't care what anybody says. The Rangers are great.
The Rangers with
They are.
this young talent that the New York Rangers have, they are going to be cup contenders within the next 2 to 3 years, and they're going to be consistently there for the next 7
Yep.
after that.
Absolutely.
And as long as they can hold on to that young nucleus, the Rangers are they're going to be up there.
Yep.
They're going to be contenders to win the Stanley Cup every single year. We just have to, basically it's like the beginning process of cooking a steak on a grill. You know, right now we're in the seasoning part. Like, we're seasoning both sides of the steak before we put it on the grill.
Yep. I love it.
That's pretty much where we're at.
I'm in on it.
And then within about 2 years, you know, take it off the grill, slice into that bad boy, and take every single delicious bite possible.
That's it. I feel good about the future.
Me too.
But the present offers us a lot of greatness.
Yes.
And I'm pleasantly surprised with how good the playoffs have been. Thousands of tests, all cleared.
Zero.
All cleared.
Zero.
You don't see anything out of the NHL other than just good hockey.
You don't see anybody going to the gentleman's club.
No gentlemen's clubs. No, everyone's steering away from the Wings.
Yes.
And listen, that's a big deal, because those Wings will come back to bite you. You don't realize, but yesterday, let's talk about OT hockey.
Can we please talk about this game? I mean, this was the 4th longest game in NHL history.
Sick.
5 overtimes between Columbus and Tampa.
5.
They basically played 3 games in 1.
You imagine?
No.
It's
No.
sick.
But here was the best part about this game, and not a lot of people realize this. As the OTs kept going, and the time kept getting longer and longer and longer, it seemed like the players kept getting faster and faster and faster and faster. And also, too, a funny little stat, too. There was only 2 penalties
Really?
for the 5 overtimes.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the whole. I was like, wow.
Only 2
I mean, that's still sick.
penalties. There was a high stick penalty and a delay of game penalty. That delay of game penalty ultimately costed Columbus the game because they scored on the power play promptly in the fifth overtime.
Korpisalo had 85 saves.
85 saves. 85.
Valevsky had 61. That's still the 85
85.
saves. I would be so to lose that game. I'd be disgusted. I would tell my teammates, "You're dead to me."
It doesn't matter how many saves you have. If you're in a 5 overtime game, it doesn't matter whoever loses that game, that's a punch in the gut.
Absolutely.
And they have to turn around and play tomorrow on Thursday, game 2, which is essentially feels like a game 4. And it's going to be interesting to see too how many adjustments that the starters have to make before playing that game.
I'll tell you what. Craziest thing really is the fact that even going to today, there was another overtime game.
Yeah.
2 OTs, Boston, Carolina. And can someone please tell me, can you explain to me how the hell Carolina actually looks like a good team? No, seriously. I mean, is it just me? I'm looking down the roster. I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm pulling it. Other than Aho, who I know is a stud, okay? And he killed the Rangers.
Their goaltender's not half bad either.
Really? I mean, I didn't think anything was.
I mean, he wasn't spectacular on today's game.
I mean, I'm just looking at the roster in general. There's nothing here that tells me, first of all, our team, we should have beat this team. We should have beat this team. There's no way on paper they're not better than us. So
right, but the Carolina Hurricanes remind me a lot of the New York Giants. Like they kind of do just enough to win the game. Like they don't win it blowing you out. Like they win it by just enough. Like they do just enough offensively, just enough defensively. They do just enough to win.
I mean, listen, if you say so, I would not make that comparison. I would say, for the Rangers, we didn't show up, and
Right.
the Carolina Hurricanes just have a horseshoe stuck up their ass. And
Absolutely.
That's where it goes.
I don't disagree with you.
Because listen, the Giants teams, those Giants teams weren't just good enough. They had great pass rushes, and great. I mean,
Okay.
and they had an offense that was workable.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just say they were they skated by, whatever the case may be. But listen, I get it, I understand. But how do you feel about this? Right?
Mm-hmm.
You still feel good. You're still thinking Vegas is your favorite. Sticking with them.
The way that they looked yesterday against Chicago, Riley Smith scoring 2 goals. They didn't even need to start Marc-Andre Fleury, arguably the best goaltender in the NHL.
Well, that would be a tough argument, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
But you give me the speed on the wings. If you give me Marc-Andre Fleury in the net in the playoffs, and how many cups has Marc-Andre Fleury won? 3?
Yeah, I think it's 3 now.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah. He almost won another one.
Exactly.
Almost.
Exactly. So he knows what he's doing in the postseason. And a lot of people, and everybody knows in playoff hockey, if you have a hot goaltender and you have good defense, you are most certainly, if you're not going to win the cup, you are most certainly going to be close to the cup.
I'll tell you, I don't want to admit this. I'm disgusted by this.
Okay.
But the Flyers look good.
The Flyers actually scare me quite a bit. They are a very scary team.
The Flyers look very good, and it bothers me a lot that I'm even saying that. But man, their goaltending looks great,
Yep.
and their players look fast.
And hungry. Absolutely.
And I actually feel, other than the goaltending, I do feel like Montreal's goaltending is better. I think that Philadelphia's actually got a better team overall.
Yes, I agree with you there. I think Philly will win that series. I do.
No shot. No shot. Islanders beat the Capitals.
I'm gonna beg to differ with you on that one.
Okay, why?
I like the Islanders defense. I do. I like the Islanders defense.
They're good.
I think they're very sneaky. They're the kind of team that can shut down a team like an Ovechkin, like an Oshie.
Wow.
They can.
Really? Dude, Lars Eller, Backstrom, Ovi, Ilya Kovalchuk.
Mhm.
I said, TJ
Yep.
Oshie down here.
Yeah.
Bro, you think these guys, do you think that they can
It's
stop
possible.
this team?
I'm not saying it's impossible.
And Brandon Holtby's definitely a better goaltender.
I'm not going to argue that. But I'm saying
Wow.
don't be
Paul
shocked.
Hagelin,
Don't be shocked.
I will be shocked.
Don't be shocked.
You can tell me not to be shocked, but I'll fall off my chair. And I'll be super disappointed, by the way.
Islanders in 7.
Wow. Islanders in 7. I'm saying Capitals in 5.
Okay.
All right. So I mean, listen, hockey's on the uptick. I love it.
Yes.
They seem to have done it the right way. They've hit a home run, and anybody who's not a fan of the NHL better be a fan now.
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
There's no way you can tell me that you're watching all these other sports and everything that's going on, and you're not a fan.
There's only 2 sports that have done this correctly with the whole coronavirus thing. Hockey is one. You could say basketball is the other one, but there's one other one too. And they've actually done a really good job, and that's the PGA Tour. They've actually done a very good job, traveling from site to site, and the commissioner has done a very good job of, preventing the outbreaks.
Can you not do a good job on the PGA Tour, though? Is there a possibility to,
Oh,
mess
sure.
that? Yeah?
Oh, sure there is.
I feel like golf is one of those... I always feel like golf is one of those foregone conclusions
No.
that...
Golf is never a foregone conclusion.
that
my
like, you
friend.
could just walk on the course and there's no corona. Like, it's golf.
No.
There's nobody... I don't know, man. It just...
I understand that there's no fans, and actually they broke it today that for the Masters in November that they're not going to have fans. They will play the Masters, but they will not have fans at Augusta National. That is going to be absolutely weird.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Absolutely weird, because there's nothing in golf like hearing the Augusta roars.
By the way, and watching Tiger Woods walk down those fairways with just hordes of people following him.
Oh my gosh, yes.
No, so that's a big deal. I just felt like golf. It's difficult to not keep safe. I don't know. It's you and the caddy. Even if you're grouped up and you guys are spaced out, no one's next to each other. You're doing it by yourself. Unless you go into the clubhouse, you're having some beers together. Like, it is what it is. You're staying safe. I just feel like it's
still possible.
No, of course. Well, anything's possible.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can hit the lottery. So
Yeah.
anything's possible. But it's so hockey's looking good. We got golf, right, which is great. So that those 2 sports have done an amazing job. And also, I thought what was cool was the Tiger Woods Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Phil Mickelson.
That was the best 4 hours of television that I've seen in quite some time.
By the way, the fact that they did that in the conditions they did it in was
Oh.
awesome.
Just the whole dynamic of that whole thing. To have Charles Barkley talking on the microphone, talking smack to all the to the professionals, to the athletes. I mean, it was just unbelievable. I mean, daring Tom Brady to make a birdie on the front nine, and he'll donate $100,000 to charity or something like that, and then he goes ahead and he holds it from 120 yards for birdie.
How about Eli going back and forth with Tom Brady? And they had back and forth banter about who was going to win, because obviously Peyton Manning is in there, and Tom Brady was saying how he was just happy that it wasn't Eli on the course because of his previous track record against them.
Yes,
so,
that was funny.
It was a good time, but listen, it leads us into other sports that are having coronavirus issues.
Very big issues, yes.
And the NCAA right now is at the forefront. And when you want to talk about division, I don't think you have any sport right now pulled in more different directions than college football. And you have the Pac-12 and Big Ten that are doing away with their season. You have the SEC and ACC planning on playing on.
So far as we know.
As far as we know. You have other conferences that the MAC, Midwest, you have these other conferences that are delaying but still hoping, right? So, and then to top it off, to put the proverbial cherry on top, the players are now trying to form a players union to be paid.
Yeah.
On top of everything.
Exactly.
So I want to know, what side do you lean on here? You cancel the season or you play the season?
Goodness. And I've tossed this around so many times. I understand both sides coming out, and you got to err on the you have to err on the side of safety. But okay, so you're not going to have a season, but okay, you're going to go to class with, you're going to have schools that are going to have all the students and the student athletes come back within the next 2 weeks. And also, too, with the postponement of the Big Ten and Pac-12, you have some of these major conferences and some of these schools like a Michigan State, an Ohio State, an Oregon. I can keep going. College football, for those schools, that is 60% of their revenue.
Power fives in general.
60% of their money that is made is in college football.
Yep. That's a big deal.
And
major.
My thing with college football is there needs to be a leader. There has to be somebody up front, much like an Adam Silver, much like a Jay Monahan, somebody who's leading the way. Because right now in college football and NCAA in general, there is nobody leading the way. You have a bunch of millionaire trustees that are leading this thing. Do you know who's leading the NCAA right now?
No, I don't. I mean,
I don't either.
Listen, each conference does have a commissioner of sorts. So each conference does. The problem is
they don't have a head.
Yeah, this is unprecedented territory.
Absolutely.
Right. So you have colleges now. You have conferences now who make hand over fist in TV deals,
Oh God, yes, especially the SEC.
hand over fist
Mm-hmm.
in their structuring of their schedule,
Mm-hmm.
and hand over fist in bowl games because a lot of them are obviously represented
Yep.
in bigger bowls. TV deals,
Oh God, TV deals, sponsoring.
tickets there, everything is. I mean, these stadiums hold 100,000 people.
And let's not forget too, and I forgot about this. What's going to happen? Postponing the Big Ten and the Pac-12. I forgot to mention this. How does that affect the seniors? How does that affect the fifth-year player? You have a guy like who is it? Who's the quarterback of Ohio State? Justin Clark, Justin White,
Fields.
Justin Fields.
Yep.
He's going to be coming out in the draft. He's a Heisman Trophy finalist.
Absolutely.
And you're telling him, hey, you're not going to play this year. What?
I mean, listen, it's. I feel like every time there's some sort of decision that's about to be made, the coronavirus ends up doing something else unique to somebody.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that this is the case, blah blah blah, whatever the case may be. All I'm saying is these guys are about to play, and now it causes like heart disease, right? So it's 5 million people come down with it. Now we have six.
No.
Now we have six, right? So it's a weird. It's like a very weird. It's also a very weird dynamic because it puts these colleges at the mercy of being sued majorly.
Oh God, yes.
Major.
And not just the colleges, the NCAA in general.
Absolutely.
You have a multi-billion-dollar organization that if you have a virus-related incident, that has something to do with the heart,
Yep.
they're done.
They're
done.
It's a big deal, and I mean, listen. Trevor Lawrence comes out, he wants to play. Justin Field comes out, he wants to play. A lot of these prominent, a lot of these prominent names are coming out and saying they want to play. But this is exactly what happened in baseball.
Yep, absolutely.
Everybody wants to play, but nobody wants to play, right?
Right.
So it's a very fine line that we're walking, and the NCAA is I thought baseball was really the joke at one point. Millionaires against billionaires, these guys, whatever.
This is the joke.
This is bad. This is very bad. And listen, I dive into it further, right? So
Sure.
So Andy made a great point. 60% of the revenue comes from them playing and their TV deals and things like that.
And the trustees. Do not forget about the trustees.
And the trustees. But the thing is I even dive further for the players. So if they don't play, then the scholarship, what happens to the scholarship they got
Exactly.
for education?
Right.
Right? So does it now, because they're not playing, they're obviously not gonna. They were given a scholarship for sports-related issues.
Does it get revoked?
Does it get revoked and pulled? Now these players have to either not finish out their student collegiate career, right? Or do they just pay? Do they pay on their own? Do they go to another college to finish it because it's cheaper and it doesn't matter?
Here's another thing too that we also need to look at as well with this. Say you have the players that aren't going to be coming out for the draft, and they play in the spring. You mean to tell me that those kids are going to be subject to an upwards between an 18 game and a 24 game season?
Yeah, I was hearing
Without
20. Yep.
without agents or anything like that. I mean, you're putting a big liability on the NCAA and the colleges and everything that gets tied in the big fat knot.
It's wild.
It is.
It's wild.
It really is. Now, the Big 12 has said, and they've come out and they've said, well, we're thinking about postponing till September 26th. Okay. Well, basically, my personal opinion, I think college football is not going to happen this year.
By the way, I don't think any football's happening this year. I actually don't even think the NFL's happening this year.
Really?
I really don't. I don't think any football whatsoever. Here's the thing of it. And we're going to get into baseball.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. But baseball players are getting the coronavirus. They're not in a bubble. They're going because eventually they want to see somebody else. They want to talk to somebody else. They want to go out on the town. They want to be young guys that have money. They want to be away.
Yeah.
And it gets even tougher when the team sucks, right? Because then what do? You show up for your job, you get your ass kicked, and then you're stuck.
Then you're stuck.
Right? So, and these are guys that are actually actively social distancing by default because baseball has positions, and the positions are away from each other. You have guys in football who are in the trenches, and they're literally blowing snot bubbles
Inches away from you.
inches on you. What do you mean inches? They're blowing snot bubbles in your face.
Right.
They're spitting in your face. They're touching their mouths and their saliva,
Yeah.
and then they're putting their gloves in your face.
Yeah.
You're not. There is no such thing as social distancing in football, and it's, by the way, not only is there not such a thing, football is complete opposite. You want to be as close to the other guy.
Yeah.
As a cornerback, as a defensive back, your job is to be as close to the wide receiver as humanly possible.
Yes.
As a running back, your job is to follow your blocker and run through trenches, okay? As linemen, you're either, as an offensive lineman, you're grabbing onto a guy and moving him,
Yes.
or the defensive end, defensive tackle is rolling over you. And as a quarterback, your job is to run away from people, but ultimately you're getting just swallowed up by big mammoth guys who are drooling on you. So the fact is football is the complete opposite of baseball and even hockey. People don't realize they have their guards,
Yeah.
and now they're full, whatever the case may be. But these guys are on the ice for 40 seconds at a time, right? A minute at a time.
Yeah.
And they have a ton of different lines, and they're sitting there by themselves, and they're essentially skating by themselves, right? The only time that players are on each other is when they're trying to steal the puck and when they're trying to check somebody. Or every other sport is really predicated on not being next to the guy. Can't see it.
So what? They're gonna play flag football?
No, I don't think they play at all. I don't think they have a season at all.
I hope you're wrong about the NFL. I hope and I pray that you're wrong. But
Listen,
again,
just convince me otherwise. How can they play? Unless you tell me
I can't. I honestly I can't.
if the NFL for 1 second somehow just was able to get their head out of their ass, right? If they were able to, and they looked around and saw what the NBA and what the NHL have been successfully doing,
Especially the NHL.
especially the NHL. The fact is you would find 4 stadiums. Okay? I'll even make this further. You'd find 8 stadiums.
Okay.
One for each division because they play each other.
Yeah.
That's half the season is division games.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then you make the schedule built around teams that are close. And those teams can also play their games there and stay local.
So similar to Major League Baseball schedule.
Yes.
Okay.
And you would say, like, for instance, Cowboy Stadium, they have the facility that's next to it.
Absolutely.
The stadium is massive. So, by the way, there's 100,000 seats, which means you can still have 8 teams watching an NFL game sectioned by itself.
Socially distant.
Okay, socially distanced, okay? I'm talking 8 full teams.
Oh, easily.
So more, but you can have 8 full teams
Yes.
completely separate
Yes.
watching.
Right.
And you do that, and you essentially create, their own bubble-like atmospheres and environments. Fine. We see what's happening in baseball now. When you are not extremely hands-on and dealing with these guys as children, you are not going to be able to control them. And when I say control them, I don't mean what they say. I don't mean their beliefs. I mean where they go
Their actions.
and what they're doing outside of playing the game. Okay, so the fact is we're sitting here, and what was the hot topic? We'll segue this right into the NBA. The hot topic with the NBA, because I know you've been on it, you've been watching it, right? So
Oh, yes.
so we'll segue this where the hot topic is there's a bubble, everything is great, but as soon as 2 players leave the bubble, right, it all heads
Yeah.
spirals. Okay, so the fact is the guy leaves the bubble and goes where?
He either goes home, or he could go out and he could go to the gentleman's club and has chicken wings at said gentleman's club.
Thank you. So when he leaves the bubble, you're leaving for 2 reasons. You're leaving for a family emergency,
Which is perfectly legitimate.
absolutely, right?
And then you're going for the illegitimate reason.
And you're going because you're bored, or you're used to it, or as Patrick Beverly says that he has quoted many of times, the gentleman's club he goes to has the best wings he's ever had, and that's where he goes all during the season. Whatever, dude, you could put whatever spin on it
Yeah,
you
sure.
want, brother. You wanted to see somebody's tush shaking up on a stage, and if you want to call her tush chicken wings, bro, you can call her butt cheeks
Absolutely.
chicken wings, okay? But I'm letting you know that there's no such thing as a chicken wing worth my career, okay? So the fact is the minute these guys, people are stop holding their hands, and the Corona police are not
Watching.
watching them, it spirals out of control.
Yeah.
So, there has to be something here in place for the NFL to be successful, because we're watching it, and NHL leads the way.
Yes.
NBA is right there. And NBA, I got to be honest with you, I haven't watched too much of the NBA. I haven't. I watched a few games early on,
Okay.
and I just was not feeling the game. I wasn't feeling the vibe.
Okay.
I just for me, it didn't scream, I'm excited about this. When I'm watching Giannis playing the Nets or something without KD or Kyrie, it just makes me feel like I can go to the playground and
I understand.
yeah.
I understand.
But your take though, what's your take on
Okay.
it?
NBA personally has been absolutely exciting.
Okay.
Last night, speaking of Giannis, did you see what happened with Giannis? How he got ejected?
Mm-mm.
He headbutted a guy from the Washington Wizards.
I like to hear that.
And there is a chance that he is going to get suspended multiple games. And oh, by the way, the playoffs start next week.
So he just straight headbutt a dude.
He went up to the guy who was, they were having a tussle over a rebound, and then there was a disagreement, and then the benches cleared. You thought cooler heads would prevail, and then all of a sudden Giannis comes up and boom. Now granted, the Washington Wizards guy, it was a bit of an acting job, I thought. Bit of a flop, but he definitely caught him.
Wow, dude. Jeff, by the way, Jeff just chimed in and said, ready to watch Hart and the Flyers destroy the Habs. Jeff, we talked about a big hockey segment earlier, man, and one of the last things I said was the Flyers, as much as it pains me, they do look great, brother. So good luck with that. I do have a lot of Philly guys. I saw Casey Smith in here, Patrick Langston, a Florida guy, Daniel Mercado, what's going on? My grandmother Ziva is in the building. So everyone who's watching right now is tuned in, guys. Hello, welcome, and ladies, of course, as well.
Absolutely. And big shout out to my mother and my father out in Connecticut, and my family and everybody out in good old Lakeville and Salisbury, Connecticut. How you doing?
Look at that, dude. The Connecticut gets love in New Jersey. By the way, Connecticut has just done a great job of not being in the news. So good job.
Thank you.
It's it's very few and far in between. Very few states that are not in the headlines, but Connecticut somehow has stayed completely under the radar until I jinxed it. And tonight something's burning down, or whatever the case may be. Sorry, buddy, but
come on.
But NBA, so Giannis gets suspended.
No, we didn't get suspended yet.
Yes, okay.
But he did get ejected for headbutting a guy last night. Damian Lillard last night.
I saw 61.
61, 5, and 8.
But did you? So I didn't see the game. Did you watch the game?
I did not watch the game.
Okay.
But I saw it this morning. 61, 5, and 8. He is the only person besides Wilt Chamberlain to have 60 or more points 3 times in an NBA season.
Bro, I said this, Jeff Frederick. What's up, brother? I say this all the time, dude. Damian Lillard. I just had this talk. The guy Tom DiFilippo, he was here. He does his podcast.
Right.
If I was starting a franchise, I actually said I'd take Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard, number one.
He's not a bad choice.
Damian Lillard has that killer instinct that just makes you want to watch the games. And if he wasn't out and the games weren't 3 hours that late, too later than I could watch on the West Coast in Portland, and played for Portland, which is a second strike because who the hell cares about Portland? So the fact is, it's super tough to watch a guy who's not mainstream. But Lillard, every single time I turn on ESPN, guy's nasty.
He's an assassin. And when he ended the series, the wave,
sick.
The wave,
sick.
Afterwards.
Guys, what are do you know what the Lakers are doing? How they
okay? Here's my before I get to the Lakers, and I have a lot to say about the Lakers.
Interesting. Okay.
The Portland Trailblazers are a team you do not want to see.
They never are. McCollum and him are nasty.
3 7-footers on the team.
3
7-footers in the starting lineup.
Who are the 3?
I don't know their names offhand.
Oh my God!
They have 3 7-footers on their team.
I know they have not Jokic, but the other
that's Denver.
Yeah, the other Russian
yeah.
Nurkic maybe. Hold on a second. What's this guy's name? And I know he's a stud. Nurkic, I was right. Yes.
Okay, Nurkic.
So I know Nurkic. So he's a 7-footer.
Yeah.
Hassan Whiteside. Yeah. Ooh,
he's a beast.
That's Pat's guy.
Yeah.
And Moses Brown.
Exactly.
Okay.
And also, The renaissance of Carmelo Anthony.
By the way, I'm not a Carmelo Anthony fan,
Oh, neither am I.
okay? But the guy looks great.
Doesn't he?
He's in shape.
Doesn't he?
Nasir Little looks great.
Mhm.
Rodney Hood, very, very formidable.
Trent?
Mario Hezonja, which you guys don't know, an Italian phenom who the Magic drafted and didn't work out, didn't get a lot of playing time, whatever the case may be. But now apparently he's playing very well. Trevor Ariza. This roster's not
Trent.
bad, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, Gary Trent. Yeah, man. This is not a bad roster.
This is a team that can drop 135 on you like that.
Wow. Interesting.
And I want no part of that. And guess who might be getting a part of them? Great segue. The
What?
Los Angeles Lakers.
The Lakers.
Now, let me just say this about the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't think they're a 1 seed. In fact, I don't think that they're that great.
Really?
You, take LeBron off that team for 1 second.
Yeah, but you don't have to.
I'm
Anthony
just saying-
Davis.
And what else you got? What else you got? Sit and pray.
But what else? But let me ask you a question. What
Yeah.
else? What else?
Okay, look, Anthony Davis for the first 3 quarters so far in the bubble has shot 53%. In the fourth quarter, he's non-existent. In 2 of the games, he has a goose egg. In the fourth quarter.
It's been that bad?
In the fourth quarter, yes. In money time, yes.
Wow.
And Kevin Harlan, he was broadcasting a game with Reggie Miller, who, by the way, I'm a huge fan of Kevin Harlan. When they were playing against Houston, when LeBron James was not playing, Kevin Harlan eloquently put it in the middle of that game when Houston was winning by, I think, 10 or 11, that the Los Angeles Lakers look absolutely positively lost without LeBron James on the court. Now, that's a little bit telling, don't you think?
Bro, I'm looking down this roster. This has got to be the oldest team
Yeah, exactly.
in the history of the NBA.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dude.
Read it. Read this. Read these bunch of fossils we got coming out.
J.R. Smith, 34.
Oh God.
Rajon Rondo, 34. LeBron James, 35. Dwight Howard, 34.
Yeah.
JaVale McGee, 32.
Yikes.
Danny Green, 33. Jared Dudley, 35.
I'm waiting for somebody in the 20s, please.
Oh my God.
Kuzma, or what?
So
Kuzma?
now, obviously, Kuzma's 25.
Okay, yippee. You don't know what you're gonna.
Markieff Morris is 30.
What are you gonna get out of Kuzma?
I don't know, but I mean, he dropped 25 the other day. I know Anthony Davis is 27.
Okay, great.
Kentarius Caldwell Pope is 27. Avery Bradley's not playing right now. He opted out. Costas Antetokounmpo is 22.
But he's not consistent.
Their 2 youngest guys are guys who no one cares about. Antetokounmpo is 22, and Talen Horton Tucker is 19.
Who?
From the great Iowa State.
Oh boy.
Yeah, legend, by the way. You don't know him?
No.
Oh, he's a legend.
No, I don't.
Yeah, big time guy. A big shout out to Talen Horton Tucker. I've never heard of him before, but I'm gonna pretend like I know you, bud.
Yes.
Shout out to
Huge.
my guy Horton Tucker.
Huge.
Dion Waiters, that guy. he's 1 minute away from a suspension.
Exactly. Find me something positive to say outside of LeBron James.
Listen, I mean, I'm a huge Anthony Davis fan. For me, I want the Lakers to win the championship. The reason why I want the Lakers to win the championship is because I believe that LeBron is better than Michael Jordan. So for me, that's why I want LeBron to win. Also,
Okay.
it may sound cheesy.
Okay. Yeah.
Kobe passes away in
God rest his soul.
the helicopter crash,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And I always felt that the organization had some sort of a major face to it no matter what, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
you
yes.
had Kobe, Shaq,
Magic,
Magic.
Kareem.
Yep. You have all of these faces.
Yeah,
Jerry West. You have a lot of faces, right? So a lot of big names.
absolutely.
LeBron goes there, Kobe passes, and you sort of felt like he's older, but he's still that guy, you know? And so for me, selfishly, I would love to see him win a championship and maybe have like some sort of cool Kobe tribute, which I think would be pretty dope.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's me selfishly. I mean, he went there. There was nobody on the team.
Right.
Anthony Davis joins, which is like a LeBron James led team MO, right?
You remember too, LeBron James was hurt last year and he missed X number of games.
And they were in the playoff hunt.
They were in the playoff hunt.
Yep, they were.
But I'm here to say right now that the Los Angeles Lakers will not win the championship.
So who's winning?
The team across the way,
The Clippers.
the Clip Joint.
Yeah, but that's just a bougie pick.
No, it's not.
Come on, dude.
No, it's not.
How? The team from top to bottom was with all the additions.
Okay, all right. The team, all right. When healthy, the team is 10-1. 10-1.
What was it you said before that? Right.
When healthy.
Oh, okay.
When healthy.
Okay.
When all the players are there.
And that's happened.
And they
how
are
many times?
in the 11 times.
Oh, okay.
Besides all the load management and all the everything, this is the team to beat. They could care less about the regular season. It's much like the Los Angeles Lakers and some of the big name teams. They could care less about the regular season. Milwaukee, they don't care about the regular season.
I hear you.
This team is going to flick the switch and they're going to beat people.
Listen, Beverly is one of the best defenders in the league.
Absolutely.
He's got a strained calf right now.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, when you said when healthy, another issue.
Okay.
Paul George does not finish seasons. Paul George does not finish seasons.
Okay.
Sorry. Paul George does not finish seasons. Montrezl Harrell, nice player. Kawhi Leonard, top 3 player in the world.
Let me drop this one on you. Let's say Kawhi Leonard wins the championship. Let's just go out in fantasy land real quick.
He's got 2 championships.
He's got 2 championships. Let's say he wins a third.
But his third different franchise.
Top 10 player all time?
Absolutely.
No doubt about it.
No, there's no doubt about it.
Okay.
First of all, I'll tell you why.
Yep, absolutely.
Defensively, to me, he's got to be either the or one of the best two-way players I've ever seen in my life. At 34, I could say that Jordan and Pippen were both nasty on both ends.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And LeBron James, not now, but a few years back, was also very dominant.
Yes.
On the defensive end.
Okay.
Russell Westbrook gets at you. Damian Lillard gets at you. Some of those Spurs players, which people don't realize, but Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker, even Tim Duncan, got at you on both ends.
Tim Duncan, highly underrated as a player.
Highly. Well, he's the best power forward of all time.
Absolutely. Now, I can go a step further. The only players to win Finals MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, Kawhi, Hakeem Olajuwon, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Let that sink in for a minute.
That's a lot. That's big.
I'll go you another step. Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and All-Star Game MVP. Michael Jordan, Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi's filth. He's filthy.
Finals MVP with 2 teams. Kareem, LeBron, Kawhi.
Listen, I don't care what people say. There's nothing you can tell me. Last year's Golden State Warriors team, injury riddled. I get it. But it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
There's nothing you could take away from Kawhi Leonard and that Toronto Raptors team. And yeah, they have nice talent. They got some nice talent, right? They're a formidable team.
Toronto was the better team.
But like the fact that Kawhi went there and that the knock on Toronto is how they've always been a great regular season team, but could never win with DeMar DeRozan and Larry.
They were 0-6 in Game 7 lifetime.
Couldn't do it with him. Kawhi Leonard goes there 1 year. They changed DeRozan for Leonard, and they win a championship.
Thank you.
No, I'm with you. He's top. Listen, he's got to go down as top 10 all time because what he does on both sides of the ball. I don't know if he's as recognized because he just never talks.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
So it's one of those things and he's got the most awful laugh in the world, by the way.
Yeah, he's got the most awful laugh, and he's won championships in San Antonio, which is not a big market for basketball. You know, nobody like the glitz and the glamour like New York or LA. You know, Greg Popovich as a coach, and then he goes up to Toronto, and Toronto is more known, and Canada is more known for hockey than it is basketball.
Absolutely.
And he goes and changes that culture in 1 year, and now he's in LA.
Yep.
And there is a good. Oh, by the way, he's only 29 years old.
No, he's young. I mean, listen, he's got 4 more years in his prime.
Easily.
Yeah, I mean,
easily. If he stays healthy.
You know, Danny. I see Danny Mercado here. What's up, Danny? Danny's going back and forth with me here a little bit. So
yeah.
You know, he's. I said Tim Duncan best power forward of all time. Mercado has said he's not. He's top 5. But Mercado, I would like to know who you, Bud, would say is the best power forward of all time. And here's the thing. I don't think we can say Karl Malone.
No.
Karl Malone's got a lot of points, but there was nothing else about Karl Malone that told me Karl Malone could not shoot like Tim Duncan. Karl Malone could not play defense like Tim Duncan.
And Karl Malone did not win a championship.
And Karl Malone didn't win a championship. So, I mean, I'm trying to figure out who you would put up there. But, I mean, listen. Talking top 5 in opinions
Sure.
is all it's eye of the beholder.
Yeah, we could do that all day.
Of course, because you really like. I can't tell you otherwise. You can't tell me otherwise. We can give stats, but your stats may not mean as much as mine.
Right, of course.
So we're sort of just, you know, Danny Mercado says Karl Malone is no shot. There's no shot, Dan. It can't.
No.
Come on, brother. Karl Malone. You know that crazy stat? You know that Karl Malone has the most free throws made in NBA history?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But
learn something new every day.
But Karl Malone, as great as he was, he had arguably the best point guard next to him his entire career, dishing him the ball that could space the floor out for him, and always had other players.
John Stockton.
Yeah.
Hornacek.
I mean, listen, even Byron Russell. He had guys next to him. Greg Ostertag, who took a lot of pressure. The big men were never on Karl Malone. They were always on Ostertag.
Quick. Hold on. Very quick. Did MJ push off on Brian Russell?
Of course he did.
I know. Okay. All right. I'm making sure we're on the same page. All right.
I mean, come on.
He did. That was a clear push off. Okay.
You know.
All right. I'm making sure that we're
But
on the
it
same
was,
page.
but he got away with that because he's Jordan.
Absolutely.
And when you're Jordan, when you're James, when you're these upper echelon elite players,
You're
you
gonna get the calls.
you get away with everything.
100%.
Yeah. So, whatever. But it's the thing of it is for me is I just feel that there's something missing for myself when it comes to the NBA this year. And maybe it's because they haven't started like the actual
The
playoffs
playoffs.
yet. Yeah, Mercado, I understand. And listen, you're making great points. You're saying Tim had a whole organization, but here's the thing, dude. Tim played with David Robinson, the Admiral, 1 year
And
Right.
won a title.
and won a title, and then took over a team by himself, surrounded by completely Europeans. And you're telling me that you knew who Tony Parker was or Manu Ginobili? No way, brother. Out of France and Argentina?
No.
No way.
No.
Sorry, dude. There's no way you could say that. And then gets
5 rings.
5. And then gets Kawhi Leonard later on. And by the way, Kawhi Leonard wasn't even Kawhi Leonard at that point. He was just a good defensive player, right? He wasn't even an offensive player.
Exactly.
So, dude, Tim Duncan was great on both ends. You never heard a word from him.
Underrated.
He is underrated. He is. Period.
Absolutely.
He is. And we heard about Karl Malone, right? Even on the Last Dance, Jordan, he could hear the rumblings that year, that second year, that the Jazz were hungry. They had lost. Karl Malone was coming for them.
They were better.
They were better. So yeah, I mean it's but who else outside of Clippers and Lakers? And you said Portland as a dark horse. Who else looks good?
Houston, with this break, James Harden looks healthier. He looks hungrier, and he's not shooting 150 times a game.
Really? Wow.
Swear to God.
Okay.
He's passing, and I don't want you to fall out of your chair. James Harden is playing defense.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Until I see it on a blue.
Okay,
Doesn't
fine.
matter.
Go ahead and watch the last 7 games that he's played. He's actually played really good defense.
Well, I can tell you right now that they're playing the Pacers right now, and they're losing by 5, and there's still time left in the second quarter, and
It's
they almost
early.
gave up already 50 points. So that's no defense.
I'm talking about him personally.
Oh, whatever. I'm just saying.
Okay.
You can't convince me. Harden, bro, when you say the word defense and have Harden's
I know.
name
It's
in
hard.
there,
It's hard to believe, but in the few games that I have seen, he's actually played. I'm not saying he's lockdown defense like Kawhi is or any of these other good defenders, but he's playing. He's actually playing and efforting to play defense.
I don't know, man. I mean,
And I'll say this again: Houston is one of those teams. They can put up 135 at a clip. And that is another team that I really don't. I think they've only lost, once inside of the bubble thus far? And again, that is a team I do not want to look at in the first round or any of the rounds in the Western Conference. And also, I mean, that's pretty much where the stories are. I mean, the Eastern Conference, it's pretty much Milwaukee. Other than that, it's
I have to rebut
okay. Go ahead.
with Mercado. He made a statement and said, "Why am I hating on the Euros?"
Oh God.
So I want you. So you ready, Mercado?
Say your prayers, Daniel.
So when it comes to European players and first round picks, we're just talking first round picks. There's only 2 in the NBA anyway, right? European and I'm not even just sticking to Euro players. Let's just talk about people outside of America. So I'll give you everybody, okay? The Kings picked Marinkovic, Vanja Marinkovic, and then the 76ers picked Shiok, and the Kings also picked Brazdikis. The Heat, I don't know any of them. The Heat picked Bol, so he may be something. The Pelicans picked Smailagic. I mean,
You're doing a very good job with these pronunciations, by the way.
Marco Silva from the Hawks. Bruno Fernando on the 76ers. Can't tell you if he's on that team. Kabengele from the Nets. Oh, from Canada, not even Euro. Okay. So I'm looking now for you, for your sake. Japan, which is not Europe. Ryu Hachimura. Okay, he's a nice player. RJ Barrett, by the way, is a Canadian. Can't even give him the Euro. Kostas Antetokounmpo is from Greece, so we'll go European descent. Still not a stud. The last time we saw a European player was, by the way, Luka Doncic, okay? And then we're going back, and you can't say Frank Ntilikina from the Knicks because he's turned into nothing, mush, okay? He was awful.
Yes.
Who else do I have here? I'm scrolling. Domantas Sabonis, Lithuania. Okay, 2016, very nice player. So we have 2. Great. That he's Canadian, so I'm not giving him to you. He's Australian. You don't get him. So if you catch my drift, brother man, there is nobody who Christos Porzingis, Latvia.
Okay. Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah, we'll give him that.
We'll give him that. Bro, I'm sorry, but there is nobody else. Dude, I'm looking through. Jokic, Serbia. Do we give you?
We can give him Serbia.
Okay, so 2014. After that, okay, Bogdanovic, another Serbian. I'll give you that. Clint Capella's a nice player out of Switzerland. Okay, I'll give you Clint Capella.
But all you're seeing is nice role players.
Yeah, Dario Saric.
Role player.
Role player. I mean, dude.
Find me a star in there.
I'm not hating. Here's the thing. Please don't get me wrong. I'm never going to hate on anybody. He said, we're all European descent. I love you, Danny. I love it. That's a good twist.
Okay, yeah.
We're all European descent.
Yes, we are.
You're right.
Yep,
So that's it.
absolutely.
So, yep. But no, listen. I'm not. All I'm telling you is nobody knew that Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili were going to be the players that they ended up being.
No.
Okay? They weren't Tony Kukoc. We knew Tony Kukoc was the European Jordan, okay? So we knew that. And, you know, he was a nice player for the Bulls. He was definitely not
He was a role player.
Tony Parker and Ginobili.
No, he wasn't a star.
But since then, we haven't seen anybody. And before then, We hadn't seen anybody.
The only star that I can really think of, really as a power forward, what, Dirk?
Yeah,
As a power forward, but after Tim Duncan?
but here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
I'm looking through this list because we're trying to find Nikola Mirotic. Okay, Mirotic is Vucevic. Nikola Vucevic.
Nice player.
He's a very, very nice player.
Yeah.
I like Nikola Vucevic. Very nice player. But there is, so you're talking in 2011, right? There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There was 15 players drafted outside of America. And I named you Mirotic and Vucevic. Valanciunas. Jonas Valanciunas. Okay, so 3 players out of the 15 that were drafted. Come on, man. That's a terrible, terrible percentage. These teams are taking chances on guys, and I'm doing my best to not butcher names. I really am.
You're actually doing a very good job at pronunciating.
Dude,
I'm very impressed.
I'm trying. But, like, this is brutal, right? So, I mean, come on. When did Dirk come in the league? Do you know?
Oh God, you had to ask me that question.
Was it late 90s?
No. 2000s.
It was. Really?
Yes, 2002. I think
Really?
it had to be early 2000s. I don't think it was 90s. I could be wrong.
I think you are.
Okay.
I think, because I'm looking through the list right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not seeing Dirk's name. So I got to find out,
Okay.
because I'm very curious myself.
So am I actually. So.
Well, you getting on the Google machine?
Yes, I am.
I like it. Okay. Oh, by the way, a great one, Darko Milicic. They hit a home run on Darko.
Mm-hmm.
Stud. Yeah,
buddy.
Dark Boris Diaw. Nice.
Okay, I was wrong.
I thought he was.
98, 99.
So I was gonna say I
Yeah.
thought 98.
Okay.
Okay.
I was wrong.
So I was trying to find his name. I just can't find his name. Got him. 98. Yep.
Yep.
9th overall. You remember when the Clippers picked Michael Olowokandi?
Oh God.
Yeah, that worked out well. Sick. Yes. By the way, guys, all we're saying is
Michael Candy. There's a name.
Andre Karolinko. He was a nice player,
Okay.
but it just this is the point is that for me, I just look at Tim Duncan as a whole. I look at the team he had to lead. Yes, he had one of the greatest coaches ever.
No doubt.
Popovich
No doubt.
is the Bill Belichick of the NBA.
Absolutely.
He's the Tony La Russa of the NBA. You know, so he's the Trotz of the NBA. You know, for me, or Scotty Bowman.
There you go.
So-
That's the name I was looking for.
So, you know, the thing of it is I just look at who they played against, who they were going at, you know, all that kind of stuff, and roll it all into one. And that's how I got Tim Duncan. But Mercado, you know, I love you, dude. And this is all. Honestly, it's all opinion, it's all semantics, because we don't really know. Because your opinion is going to be different than mine, and your player, for all intents and purposes, is better than mine because that's who you watch, that's who you like.
Exactly.
That's it. So we're saying the Clippers. You're saying the Clippers. We'll go back, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna say the Clippers. I mean, I did originally. Don't laugh at me for what I'm about to say on
Go ahead.
my Eastern Conference pick was at the start of the year.
Can I guess?
Yeah, sure.
76ers.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Okay. By the way, Ben Simmons is gone and Joel Embiid's hurt.
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
I know.
Come on.
It's not going to happen.
Nah.
I know.
It's tough. I mean, Celtics look like. I mean, by the way, the Raptors too. The Bucks, Celtics, Raptors. There's nobody else.
Celtics. Yes, I agree with you.
Okay.
Celtics terrible matchup against Milwaukee because Milwaukee, their length, they'll just blow them off the court.
Yeah.
But Toronto, nobody's talking about Toronto.
No, Toronto's nice.
Toronto, Pascal Siakam, Van Fleet,
Bogdanovich,
yes.
Middleton.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a stacked team.
Just basically forego the Eastern Conference and just get it to Milwaukee versus Toronto.
Yeah.
That's pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, listen, here's shortly. I'm excited. I just got confirmation. Sal Angeletti and Carl are going from Talking Baseball here on Hamilton Radio, the segment after us,
Yes.
will be joining us
Really?
for our baseball talk.
Oh, that's great.
So we have our baseball talk is hot. Okay.
It's huge.
It is huge.
Huge.
And what I want to do is I want to start to get into the baseball talk, and we're going to fill them in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So we have our NBA. I'm saying it's Lakers. This is going to surprise you.
Okay.
I'm saying it's Lakers, Toronto,
All right. That's perfectly respectable.
and you ready? Toronto wins
I'm not surprised.
the championship
I'm not surprised.
again, back-to-back years.
That would be a great story.
Great story.
It'd be a really good story.
Yep. So we've gone through. Listen, we've gone through a lot today so far.
We have.
We started out in the NHL and
Covered
Andy
a lot in the NHL.
covered a lot. Andy's pick of Vegas is not only still around. They're doing amazing.
Islanders are down 1-0 against Washington right now.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
A lot of game left. A lot of series left.
And we went through obviously the New York Rangers getting the #1 overall pick, rebuilding. We talked about how my pick of the Avs have a very favorable matchup
Very good match. Yes.
against the Coyotes, who only had 74 points in the regular season. So
That's looking like a sweep.
it's looking. I mean, listen, sweep or not, I just need them to continue because I made that bold pick.
Absolutely.
So we went through a lot. Then we went to college football. The college football land, the layout of the land is very, very tough right now.
It's a mess.
And we were discussing everything there on that end. And then we went into basketball, and now we're on our way to baseball. And let me tell you something. Baseball is really is the hot take right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have guys opting out
Marcus Stroman from the Mets
and Cespedes.
Cespedes after going AWOL.
You have, by the way, I'm gonna get into this in a second.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna lose my marbles in
yeah,
a second.
and I look forward to seeing that.
I am the next is the COVID chaos of only a few teams having COVID run rampant through their teams and their organization,
St. Louis.
and Miami. And then you also have the brawl. Okay.
Yes.
So this is all. Here we are.
Here he is.
He's going.
Here's
Ladies and gentlemen,
here he is.
Sal Angeletti is sneaking around.
Here he.
He doesn't want to
Here
step
he
in. Look, it's the
is.
smartest guy in the room at all times.
I want to show my hot body on the end.
He's in a show. He's not.
A fellow Yankee fan, I see.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, Aaron Judge is out tonight.
Yep.
Hey, he needs some rest. The best player in the league. He's gonna need some rest once in a while.
Listen, Sal, you are.
Oh, it's on. It's on.
Mic check. Mic check. Here we go.
Testing right about 1, 2, 3, 4.
You on?
Listen,
Hey there, Ralph. No.
Sal Angeletti.
We got a combination corkscrew rotor remover. Does it do the work of all of these?
Sal, how are you?
I'm good. Apparently, Aaron Judge has got back tightness, stiffness.
That guy's always guy. He's always.
It's all right. They got enough good guys on the team.
So listen, I have sitting next to me, I have Andy Williams here with
Andy
me.
Williams from Happy Days.
No,
No, it's Anson Williams. I'm sorry.
no. That's Anson Williams, and not Andy Williams, the singer who sang Moon River. Even though I did have to sing Moon River.
Well, he
for
was in the Odd Couple, wasn't he?
He was in an episode or two.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
Listen, we're gonna go deep in on baseball today, man. I'm excited, and when Carl gets here, I'm excited to have you guys in.
Thank you, sir.
We're obviously going with the opt-outs. We're going with the brawl, and we're going with the COVID chaos. Here are the three topics. So I want to, before my Yankee guys get involved, right? I just want to say my piece as a Mets fan, and then I can hand it over to the people that have something to talk about.
Okay.
Okay.
Would you like your
Well,
Kleenex
I know
first?
your pain because I used to work at Shea Stadium, so don't worry about it.
So let me tell you.
Should we get Kleenex first?
No,
For
though,
John,
there's
or-
going to be no tears. You may have to cover the TVs. I'm going to break them.
You know what? I don't blame any Met fan. It's
No,
it's
absolutely.
Not, you know what? Have somebody buy that team and help. That they've needed to do that for a very long time.
They're 7-11 right now.
But I don't even care about the record. You ready for this?
Sure.
So the Wilpons are about to have to sell the team, right? They had a deal in place to sell it.
How could you be 90 million in the hole?
Yeah.
Bro, 90 million is better than the 300 million
Yeah.
that we were, okay?
That's true.
So here's the thing. Our owners are in debt and can't sign players. So we're going to start from ground zero.
Right.
In 5 minutes, I'm going to work my way to here before I snap my laptop, okay?
Easy. Oh,
So-
you got enough sleep, I see.
Yeah. So
He took a nap
a
actually.
3-minute power nap
before we came
I
on
was
the
leaning
air.
back sleeping. So
Last week he wasn't late because of the power outage and everything. He was like, I'm all right.
Yeah.
By the way, not to steer off track, everybody's got power back.
Yeah.
Everybody's
power back.
Apparently today Tom's River went out.
really
As long as that's not freehold. I feel
Because-
bad for Tom River today.
because there are some. You don't know that I'm from Northwest Connecticut. There's actually still some places out in Northwest Connecticut.
Now, where exactly is?
Do you know the town of Salisbury? It's basically on the map. It's basically the point of New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts. That's where I live.
Okay,
That's not bad.
not bad.
Beau-
in
beautiful
between
area.
all the close to Boston. You can see the Bo Sox, and you come
And
down.
by the way, too, where I live, it is 50-50 Yankees Red Sox.
Wow.
I mean, it is. I mean, there's your spare Mets fan, but it's all you got to do is just
Stupid people we
all
are.
you got to drive. All you got to do is drive 15 miles south, north, east.
All right.
Red
Listen,
Sox.
listen.
Go ahead.
Do me a favor. Enough
The
of
floor
this,
is yours.
Enough of this Yankee Boston BS. Look,
the
look,
floor
let
is
me,
yours.
let me get into my crap team so we can talk about a good team after. All right.
Yeah, sure.
So the Wilpons are $300 million in debt.
Oh, it's 300.
They were $300 million in debt, and they have an offer for $2.2 billion for an 80% ownership stake from Steve Cohen, the hedge fund billionaire. Okay, who's worth $13.5 billion, and he says, "I'm going to give you a boatload of money to own 80% for the first 5 years, and then you give me complete rights." Okay, after that. Well, one of the Wilpon brothers, Fred Wilpon, decides that his head isn't far enough up his own ass, So what he wants to do is he wants to say, I have to be able to run the team for 5 years. You cannot hire a new GM for the first 5 years. Brody Van Wagenen has to be the guy, and I want my manager in place. So they sign Beltran in the middle of a scandal. He lets Brody Van Wagenen sell off the farm system. Any prospects worth a damn are gone. He sells them off for Cano, who, and please don't say, don't you know Cano, because Cano doesn't even know Cano, okay? So Cano now can't cover anything outside of a 6-foot radius of his old decrepit body on second base. He can't swing a bat, okay? His AARP card just got in. And then they sign a guy in Diaz who blew double-digit saves the year prior to his standout year that they sold the farm for. So they said, we're going to oversell everything. We're going to give you prospects, their moms, everything to get Diaz, because we need a closer, because Familia is a head case, okay?
And they brought him back.
And then they brought him back. But they're like, well, we'll get his power arm without the head case scenario in the 8th inning. Okay. Diaz is literally looks like Portland on fire. Okay. The guy is burning down to the ground. He's atrocious. Every single time Diaz takes the plate, I am on vomit alert. Okay. When Cano steps up at the bat, I'm telling myself, I know there's back spasms happening right now. Okay. It's only a matter of time before he pulls a muscle and he can't play anymore. And the best part about all of this is then we can't get the manager that we want, because then they have to let him go because of the scandal. They bring up their AAA manager, Rojas, which I don't, whatever, fine. If someone has an opportunity, whatever the case may be, your club has no credibility, and you have a guy in Buck Showalter who is a career baseball guy that everybody likes and respects. You don't sign him. You let him sit down. Why? Because Brody Van Wagenen wants his own ass clown.
I want my Starbucks coffee.
He wants his Starbucks coffee. Okay? So Brody Van Wagenen wears his panties on his head. All right? So I have to watch this now. So here's what happens. Now we're on the field. We have our product here. Syndergaard goes down. Oh, and Carl's here. What's up, brother? All right, now we're
This is some mix.
We got-
Yankee, Met,
Philly.
Philly.
Listen, Carl,
Philly.
I'm going through a Mets rant. Really, I have to get it off my heart, and then we're gonna go to other teams that matter because the Mets suck. So in the middle of my rant here, we welcome in Carl from Talking Baseball as well. Where the mad scientist is getting the camera set up for us. So as I was saying, for me, I'm watching this. So then what do? We trade for Stroman. And here's where it gets, guys, really good. Okay?
Hold them down.
Here's where it gets good. We have a prorated season, 60 games in 66 days. The players are making X amount of money pro rata. Okay? Cespedes agrees. And Cespedes is, we got Mike. Oh, it's Mike feedback over there next to the thing. You're the man. Okay. And then what happens? Cespedes has incentives for at-bats. Fine. He opts out because of COVID. Bullshit. And the week before he was doing the tango in a bar, I'm not joking.
I saw that picture.
He was spotted doing the tango, salsa, with a young lady in a bar. And then you say it's COVID the day after you were benched and realized that you could not meet your at-bat limit to get your incentives. Oh, but wait, you were in a stretch, a 13 at bat stretch, in which 9 of them were strikeouts. Okay, we'll move past you, Cespedes, because you're not worth more than 80 seconds of my time. We're gonna go to Stroman. Stroman now supposed to be the number 2 guy. He gets injured. It's unfortunate. Every report comes out now, credible reports, that when he got traded, the only place he wanted to be was the New York Yankees. There's reports now in the clubhouse when they said he went to the Mets, he threw a temper tantrum, a meltdown in the Toronto clubhouse, breaking things, goes to the Mets. They sell him on the Mets. Apparently, he was sold on Beltran, right? Beltran's not there. Guy gets hurt. The day before he's supposed to come back, COVID. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, like the rest of America.
Was he doing the last tango in Paris with Cespedes?
Of course. So now all of a sudden, Stroman opts out. Awesome. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, 7-11. Pete Alonso looks like a one-hit wonder. Cano sucks the big one. Diaz is a dumpster fire. Familia I need both of his big toes to break immediately.
Head case.
And our owners are literally sabotaging our own team. Brody Van Wagenen, before he gets fired, before they sell this team off, is going to sell anything valuable to the Mets for our future. And ladies and gentlemen, you have your Mets fan here in the room. Here I am. I have to root for this crap, so you know.
Can I throw my rant, or should I wait for our show in a half hour?
Bro,
No.
What did I say about our Philly bullpen? What did I tell you about their bullpen? 13-1. Nola pitches good Monday against Atlanta. Girardi doesn't want to send him out to the ninth. Okay, no problem. You give up 7 runs? Seriously? 7 runs? Last week, I don't know if you guys watched the show. I was doing this because he was saying, I bet Judge is going to hit a home run, 3-run shot. He did. They were winning 11-3. They made it 11-7. Okay? The bullpen.
You just see the poor guy.
They blew the game last night. They were down. Harper tied it in the bottom of the 8th. Segura took the lead. Next, back to back. Okay, no problem. They scored. They tied it. He gave up a hit. Okay, no problem. I don't know who was up. They had 2 outs. They botched the infield fly right by the mound. Segura was going to go for it. Hoskins said, "Oh, I should have got it." They let it drop. They scored 2 runs. Okay, they're losing 8-6. What comes up? They tie it again in the bottom of the 9th. They hit someone hit a 2-1. I think someone hit a 2-1 homer. I don't know who it was, but they tied it up. So they go in extras, and they lose 10-9 in the 10th. Are you kidding me? That's their downfall. The bullpen is going to cost them a chance to get into the playoffs. Because, like I saw his post earlier about tonight's show, Realmuto's getting hot. He's hitting. Harper's hitting. Hoskins is a joke. When
that's a hot take, by the way. Hoskins that's a hot take.
He's a joke.
That's a hot take.
He is a joke because before analytics guy Gabe Kapler came over, he was hitting for average, everything. What they do last year, that launch angle stuff.
Yeah.
He hasn't hit a home run since last August. Okay?
McCutcheon's non-existent.
No, he's old. He got old quick. I know he's coming off his ACL and MCL last year, but
By the way, I just want to say this. I just want to say congratulations on one thing. you got Bryce Harper on your team who does nothing for your team. Congratulations on the major signing. So you know, Bryce Harper is the only major superstar to leave a team and have that team win a championship.
That's true.
So congratulations, Bryce Harper is in Philadelphia. Bryce, I love you, man. You're my guy. Stay in Philly.
They had to. They had to pay all that money for him to come. Hopefully, they give Realmuto the contract. They have to pay for him for the stay. They still need a third baseman for next year. Listen to this. I was got out early from work tonight. I was listening to Jason Stark, who was inducted last year into the Hall of Fame. They're saying John Milton said he didn't want Clintack and Andy McPhail to go over the threshold for the bullpen. He didn't want to go over the cap. So when you hear that, it's a lost cause.
Yeah.
So I don't even want them to make the playoffs this year. Do what they gotta do. Just be told for the next coming.
Rebuild.
Yeah,
But you're
because they're not winning nothing this year. They're not going to do nothing.
You're not going to do anything with Bryce Harper on your team. Look, every time every team that Bryce Harper's on that hasn't a real opportunity to win, he bats 250. Bryce Harper this year is batting 324. He's hitting out of his mind.
He's having a nice season.
Yeah, and they suck. So what? So tell me, does it matter? So that's why I say Bryce Harper's actually my hero. Thank you, Bryce. Because every time you do something, Bryce, you look like an idiot, and it makes me feel good about myself. I just can't stand. You know what? It's a race. I don't know who I can't stand more. Diaz or Bryce Harper.
Okay, here's something for the Mets that I don't get, and he'll get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Don't forget when the Yankees started to come back and build and start winning again. It was Mariano and then Wetland.
Yep.
Okay, Mariano retires, and then you had bullpen by committee. Then you got Chapman.
And then he finally got.
Now here's the Mets who grabbed Dylan Betances, who proved himself as a Yankee.
No.
Now, the familiar 7 should have been Diaz in the 8th, Dylan in the 9th.
Yep. Exactly.
Why do they have Seth Lugo's closing?
Because he's the only guy who can close games. What do you mean?
They're not having.
Now,
they don't want.
what just happened to the Mets is somebody's starting tonight who was the reliever.
It's probably me. I'm headed to the game after this.
Gazelman?
Gazelman.
Gazelman.
No, but
Yeah, he was in the
he
starting
was a starter,
rotation too. He was
He
split
a starter.
starter.
He was a starter.
And now they're going to stretch him into a full starter.
So I did write to the Wilpons. I said, listen, I know you're $90 million in debt. I'm a very cheap option at bullpen, and I can blow saves the same way Diaz does. I'm much cheaper, actually, much. You pay me a fraction, and I'll do it with more dignity. I'll talk really good about you.
Don't even pay me. Just put the uniform on.
Yeah.
Give me the uniform that just let me put my name on the back and some David Sunflower seeds because those are the best. And wait, you can't do that anymore, right? Because COVID, you can't spit
No,
sunflower.
you can't spend
So
seeds.
true.
No.
I've been seeing players spitting on the field.
No, they're allowed to spit on the field away from nobody, but they're not allowed to do it in the dugouts or by somebody. So they're not allowed to do it on home plate.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
it's-
were doing it at the plate.
Yeah, they are doing it at the plate. They're doing
I've
it.
seen guys
oh,
doing
yeah.
it.
Oh, absolutely.
But they can't chew gum or
I
have seeds.
saw Gary Sanchez do it.
Yeah.
Really?
Who should ask to be sitting down for 25 strikeouts already.
So let me
Absolutely.
let me ask you guys here. I want to get the three of you, and we'll start over from Carl. We'll work our way down this.
Sure.
We have. I want to get your take before I give you my rant on this on this brawl. Okay, Laureano, who is a great young hitter for the A's.
They gave him what? Six games?
Eight
And
games.
8 games.
Is
and
it
the-
8?
I thought it was 6 for him.
6 or 8, and,
Oh,
the,
Six for him, 20 for the coach.
and 20 for the
Yes.
coach on Houston.
Yeah.
Okay, so here it is.
Season's over for that douche.
So Laureano gets plunked 3 times, right? He's salty. I'd be a little salty.
Same game.
Same game.
Yeah,
Okay.
same game.
Yeah,
Okay,
same
so-
game.
but here's the thing.
After the third time, I would have thrown a bat.
Did you hear the reason why He actually
Yep,
went over.
I heard that story.
Yeah, because of
The
he was
coach.
talking about the family. He was talking
Yeah.
about the family.
So the
guy's
dude,
mother.
so the guy's mother. How do you feel about that? Do you agree with Liriano or not?
I would have went after.
You'd have went after him.
Yeah, why you haven't? That's no ball. That's no class. Why would he talk about someone's family like that? Are you kidding me? That's bush league. That's
Okay. How about you?
Well, the thing is with me, I mean, you get plunked 3 times in a game.
I mean, after the second time.
After the second time, I mean, I'm already charging the mound. I don't, not making fun of,
Oh, don't forget
making-
the history with Oakland and Houston to
Oh,
begin
of
with.
course, yeah.
We knew there was
The
going to
whistleblower, yeah, of course.
that was going to be one of the teams besides the Dodgers to go after them anyway.
Absolutely.
How do you feel about it, Sal? What do you do?
After the second time, we would have got a bet over that.
100%.
So here it is for me. You ready for this? This is the generational separation gap.
Yep.
Okay. When I was younger, and I'm talking about starting from like 11, okay, on. If you weren't talking about someone's mom, you were soft. All right. So the fact
I
is
see what you
like,
got, yeah.
is your mama, right? Like I've heard everything about mama jokes underneath the sun. Okay.
yeah.
I am
did that
so
too.
I'm
I
so
did that too when I was growing up. I heard it.
I am
Yeah.
desensitized to any of it. And furthermore, if someone's going to say something that's going to get me salty, it better be super, super, super creative, not about my mom because that's not original. I want to hear something that like blows my mind. I want to be like, wow, I didn't see that coming. I'm pissed now. Right? So here's the thing.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
You're a major league player in the middle of a pandemic, okay? The one thing you don't want to do is jeopardize your health or anybody else's. Now, these guys are on the field, so for all intents and purposes, they're healthy, right? Okay. But you don't want to jeopardize it. You have minimal games to do something. You're telling me that you want to jeopardize 33% of your season because someone talked about your mom?
Yeah.
I see where he's coming from now, yeah.
But this is it?
Yeah.
This is the reason?
Well, this is the second time that the Astros got into a scuffle with a team.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well-
the other one was the Joe Kelly incident.
Yes, yeah, with the Dodgers.
But the other one was more of a standoff.
Yes.
They just stood in front of each other and they were like, yeah, right? Like this one, like Liriano went after him, the guy tackled him. But like, here's the thing. You're telling me, like your cause of fighting was because he said something about your mom? Bro, you're a grown ass man in the major leagues making buco bucks during a pandemic with no fans.
Well,
He better have
Houston,
said-
Houston had to do something. They're losing their sting there.
But he better have said, well, I know that, but he better have said something to the effect of like, I'm gonna stab her to death for me to be upset. Because if he just
Does
made,
anybody knows what he definitely said? Or-
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I
he
don't
said
know.
something in Spanish, like something,
Oh, yeah, okay.
you know. But like, bro, come on, dude. So for me, I'm looking at it and I'm like, Liriano, when I wanted him to say, yeah, you know what? Third time getting hit, I'm out. Like, it's on right now, right? Like he said that to me, I'd be like, you know what? Okay, I see it. When he's like, this guy made fun of my mom, I'm like, Liriano, I want to fight you now. Like, I want to write you on Instagram and make fun of your mom just to see if you write back to me. Like, dude, really, bro? This is what we're doing here?
Was it on the dugout or Instagram?
What?
No,
No, it was in the dugout. I'm just
dugout.
saying, I want to, you know,
Oh.
I can't get a hole in the dugout, you know, but it's such a joke, and to me, it just screams childish.
I mean, if you get plunked for a second time and if you try to make a move toward the mound, if you're the player, you better go to the mound. You're not just walking to first base.
What's MLB gonna do now? I mean, like you said last week, they got a slap on the wrist. Houston, they got whatever.
Yeah, Joe Kelly got killed, and
Joe Kelly.
Joe
now,
Kelly got murdered.
Now, what do they do with this guy? You
Yeah.
know, and all this going on with Houston, they're causing fights and whatever's going on. Something's got to Something's got to come to a head soon with this team.
Now, what I don't get was how come after he got plunked twice, how come they didn't do a warning for both teams? Next time you're ejected. Why did he do a
Yeah,
warning?
that's
Bro,
very interesting.
I'm
too.
telling you right now, people don't realize how far this scandal goes because somehow the umps are still protecting Houston. And it's amazing to me how Kelly got the suspension he did and how Kelly got the warning that he did, right? And the ejection and the Dodgers got the
Right.
warning. And here in this game, the guy gets hit 3 times. Nothing. Something is not right. And somehow the Astros have skated by. Their players skated by, and the manager took the fall. Cora and what was and Hinch, right?
Yeah.
Hinch is the
AJ Hinch,
manager.
and,
Yeah.
and and Beltron. That's it.
And here's the thing, when this all first started to happen, they got rid of Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan of all people.
Yeah.
Now you look at you say to yourself, what did this guy do? He sat behind
Home plate.
home plate, one of the best pitchers in baseball, told all these kids how to. He never believed in the pitch count. That's
Never.
why Houston was so good. Keep going, keep going. To have these guys, and he's right. You don't need a pitch count in baseball, and this is why all these young kids are having Tommy John surgery.
Right.
So why would you get rid of Nolan Ryan? Because he knew what was going on. You were afraid
Yeah.
of something there. I don't know.
Maybe a conspiracy theory out there, possibly.
I mean, there's a big conspiracy.
He's right. There's something more than this that we don't know. There's got to be.
There has to.
I don't know. They're falling. They're not playing. They're falling down the cracks this year anyway.
I told you what I say last week. Watch for Oakland. I said Oakland was one of the teams.
Yeah, if they make it, they're going to be out in 3 games or 2. For some reason, Houston don't have it this year.
Now remember, we were all talking about baseball playoffs being in the bubble. Somebody must listen to all of us because they mentioned. I told him yesterday.
Yeah.
I heard it on WFAN in the morning. Baseball's considering a bubble for the playoffs.
Yep.
I actually, and I hate to say this, but actually, last week's show, I was the guy that actually questioned that. That was
Yeah, you put it through. Well,
I put it through, yeah.
we talked about it on Sal's show months ago. We were talking about it here, saying that we were thinking that they should, even prior to season, prior to the whole thing, the negotiations, we were thinking that playing in a bubble would be the way to go, and actually, it'd be easy to pull off, and you're seeing it now.
And it's working for the NBA and NHL
Yes.
perfectly.
By the way, there's no reasons why, other than the fact that in baseball, it is no holds bar. There's no salary cap. The players' union is the biggest union.
You're right.
Period. They do not want to be handicapped. It is young players, and you see it. Plesac and Clevenger from the Indians.
Yeah, they got sent home for a week.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Wanted a night out, right? Young guys, 2 great they wanted a night out. Doesn't matter.
Pitches just like his uncle.
We're just gonna go out, whatever the case may be. And the craziest thing is Plesac, so they sent them home, right? They knew whatever. They didn't know Clevenger till a day or 2 later, because Clevenger actually never even came back to the clubhouse that night. Never even came back to the team. Stayed out somewhere, and he could say wherever he wants to say, but was probably at a gentleman's club having chicken wings. And
Are they allowed chicken wings there? I didn't know that. Are they allowed chicken wings out in Ohio?
listen,
No, actually, yes, they are.
I mean, listen, you have to understand. I don't know if you know this. The new word for gentleman's club is chicken wings.
Chicken wings.
Yeah.
Can I have those chicken wings with those chicken wings?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, so that's so it's amazing to me, and it's amazing how selfish these guys are. Carlo Carrasco from the Indians recovered from cancer, right? So he really is the epitome of an underlying issue of someone for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens? Two of his teammates leave. They go out for a night on the town, and Clevenger, instead of telling the team, actually comes back to the team without being tested and risks his teammates. And one's a cancer survivor. So this is what I'm saying. Nobody cares, right? But you have players in the NHL who made the sacrifice and said, "Hey, it's for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna hit it. We're gonna hit it hard."
Yep.
And then you have players in the NBA, a couple months. We're gonna hit it hard. And by the way, once again, did you see what the Lakers did to reenact their home court, like their actual homes? Did you see?
No.
They ordered everything that they would have in their own homes and basketball stadium or practice facility inside of their section in the bubble, and it literally looks like Disney World inside
Really?
of the Lakers. So here's the thing: they can't go
Oh, wow.
out, but
That's great.
they're millionaires. So what do you do when you're a millionaire?
You buy stuff, yeah.
You bring everything to you. Guys, is it really that tough? The only thing you're not getting is chicken wings. Okay, you feel me?
Chicken wings on chicken wings.
That's all you're.
They
That's the only
probably
thing you're
get
not.
them Mickey Mouse waffles, probably. I know what they use.
Now my question for you guys is, if they said no back in April, May, June for a bubble, why are you going to say now bubble for playoffs?
Because now there's going to be less teams. I mean, there's more teams, but you could control it now.
You would think
During the
they should
playoffs.
have said bubble from the get-go.
Well, there's too many plays now. I think when it's the playoffs, there's less.
Still have 16 clubs. 8 teams in both cities.
Well, like
two
we were
cities.
talking about, you could do the West Coast teams could be
Yeah.
Arizona, and the
Yeah.
East Coast could stay in Florida.
You have 4 cities. You could have L.A.
Yeah.
and Arizona, and
Yep.
then what was it on the East Coast? I think it
It was Florida. Florida was one.
The gulag
Tampa.
that is the gulag that is Tropicana Field, and
Well, why don't they just use Miami just for the hell of it?
yeah, might as well. I mean,
It's a beautiful stadium that no one goes to. It's actually got to be the cleanest stadium because they don't have any fans that ever go there.
That's such a. It's sad.
and,
It's
and,
got to be the most sanitized.
Sad.
and neither does the Trop. So
I have one more question for you guys.
Yeah.
Do you think the Cardinals will ever be back on the field within the next week or two?
no,
Do you think they're going to be out?
100%.
They're going to drop? You think they're going to drop them out?
I don't know if they're going to drop completely, but I know within the next week or two, you won't hear hell or high water from them.
Wow.
I mean, listen, all I know is the Marlins were also dead to rights for all intents and purposes. They almost cost baseball the season, and the Marlins ended up coming back and being 7-1. Now they're 7-4, but the Marlins came back. I know it's tough because we're this far into the season, 33% of the season done, and St. Louis is 2-3. But if St. Louis can get their act together and get some games in, I think it's possible because there's other teams that aren't too far ahead. The Phillies are only 12 games in,
Yeah.
and the Nationals are only 13 games in. Cubs are 14. So there is some teams that are close, but
And by the way, Miami is tied for first place in the NL East at the
That
moment.
ain't gonna
No,
last.
I know it's not, but still.
But look at all the surprise teams. That kid on the White Sox is on fire right now.
Absolutely.
Like we was talking about last night. Now we have new faces of baseball. The kid on the White Sox. You got Tatis Jr.
nasty.
The Padres are surprising the hell out of everybody.
Yep.
They're in the race with the Rockies and Dodgers. So, like I said, it's going to be interesting. Like the Yankees started 8-1. Now they're 10-6. They were on fire and then they cooled off. Sanchez ain't hitting. Glaber's not hitting. But they have enough guys on the bench
I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No, it's good.
who's out a month for the Yankees? I think somebody just went on the
Stanton's out for 3 to 4 weeks.
3 to
and
4 weeks.
I just saw that. They just posted it on the Yankee thing about Judge's
I
back
told
pain.
you. They're saying he could be a good ball player, but he can't stay healthy. That's
It's a lot of guys.
No, it's a lot of Yankees.
Well, we hired the Mets
we'll keep
training staff.
so they're saying he's saying that he's out tonight and tomorrow night. You'll see. Well, hopefully he's back Friday.
Clint is back in right field, getting his last hurrah. But here comes the big trade the Yankees are going to make, and we spoke about it. You're going to see Andujar and Frazier in a package deal, and they're going to go after a pitcher to help along.
I bet it'd be one hell of a pitcher, because that's a good package deal. By the way, if they offered that for DeGrom, I'd take it in a second.
Oh, the Met fans went off the walls. I saw it on Facebook. They're jumping out the windows already.
I
No,
mean,
who did the Yankees want from the Mets? Wasn't it Max?
I think it was Max. Yeah.
Max
No.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Wheeler also last year. Wheeler.
Yeah, well, he went to the Phillies.
Yeah, no,
He's
they
pitching well.
He is. He's doing good.
Yeah, he
Of
did
course he
great
is. He's
against.
off
He
the
did
Mets.
great. He did great against the Yankees that night. He beat the Yankees.
Yes, he did.
pitching good. He's pitching good.
Anybody who leads the Mets. does
Listen,
great.
they got a great manager in Girardi. Give that team a little.
Telling you the
I'm
bullpen
telling you.
stinks, man. Telling you,
Trade Harper.
the bullpen
I
stinks.
tell you, watch out. Andujar and Frazier might be a
Who knows?
Philly.
Maybe.
That could be a
Maybe.
Philly.
nobody wants that contract.
That's it.
Oh, guess I also heard some news. We may have making a site seeing is maybe next week. David Robinson. We haven't seen him a couple years. He may be actually throwing next
You
week.
mean the Yankee? Watch back to the Yankee again.
Yeah.
And
So
that
I
was
actually
it?
might see him.
All right.
Guy could have been one of the best relievers in baseball. He just kept getting hurt.
Absolutely.
That's it. But listen, health is big. The guys who stay healthy are the great ones.
Don't forget now. I forgot his name already.
Oh,
From who?
Oh, it's this Andy Williams.
yes.
Oh, anyway, Andy. Oh, his name. I thought you were talking about a baseball player. I was like, who are you talking about?
I asked these two gentlemen this question. Now you're seeing it now. Who do you think would? What was the question? Who would be more of the advantages here, whether it be the pitcher or the batter?
Yeah.
Now we're seeing all these pitchers are getting hurt.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough time
No, there wasn't.
for these guys to train.
Exactly.
I mean, during the pandemic, a lot of guys went home with throwing. Guys went back home. Aaron Boone was throwing with some of the pitches.
Right.
He was throwing with Chapman and these guys. They were ready. Some of these guys aren't ready,
Right.
and even players are getting hurt.
Yeah. Nobody's healthy. Nobody can consistently stay healthy.
You got to sit Sanchez. I mean, he's getting a little better as a defensive catcher, but you got 25 strikeouts. You're batting 080 something, whatever it is now.
And you're but
You know who's not healthy? The Wilpons. Okay, I guess.
No, they didn't.
well, they're never healthy.
At least you guys.
Let me tell you.
At least you guys have an organization.
Not like, you got to let A-Rod control some of that team.
I
got
love it. I love it.
The
Listen,
guy eats, sleeps, and craps baseball.
Absolutely.
I would, and it doesn't hurt you get J-Lo with it.
Yeah.
No,
That's a great. That's a
that
great.
could be baseball's first couple. Look at that.
There you
I
go.
would love it.
There
I
you
would love it.
go.
I would absolutely love it. I mean, listen, A-Rod, great baseball mind.
Watch out, he don't do. If the Mets don't, if he doesn't get something involved
Watch
with
him-
the Mets, watch him be with the Yankees in some
Yeah.
capacity.
I will. I'll
Absolutely.
jump out a window.
I'm just going to throw off this baseball talk real quick. I'm happy that Montreal beat the Penguins because tonight that's who the Flyers have game one, Montreal. So hopefully they get rid of them real quick, and then go round two.
Very quickly to the three of you. Do you like the extra inning rule with the guy on second base?
No, but
No.
for this year, I know why they did it.
No, I don't.
Nah.
I absolutely hate it with a
I don't
passion.
like the 7 inning doubleheader either. I don't like
I
that
don't
either.
mind that.
I don't even care. I don't.
It
you
could,
gotta-
it could have. Some teams could have came back and won games,
Yeah.
listen,
like the Yankees.
the reason why I don't care about it is because I'm a Mets fan, so it doesn't matter. So we suck either way. 7 innings, 5 innings, double headers. It doesn't really matter. Once we take the field,
You know, you and Gio from the Boomer and Gio show have to get together, because he was same thing. I can't watch no more.
no,
He's
I,
great.
yeah.
Get the Kleenex out. You know.
When I turn the TV on, I'm. By the way, when I grab the remote, I'm pissed before I even hit it. I'm mad. I'm actually mad.
I now that T-Mobile and Sprint joined, I get to see the games on here,
Yeah.
and I'll just put on, John Sterling and
Yep.
lower the TV. But then I realized, wait a minute,
It's
there's
not the
a
same.
time difference.
Yeah.
There's like,
It's
hold
a,
on,
it's a delay. A big delay.
there's a big delay.
Well, listen, guys and girls, we're going to head out of here now. We don't want to take too much time up because we have Sal and Carl obviously taking over the hot seats here for talking baseball, and there is a ton to talk about. So stay tuned, locked in with them. They're going to take you on the journey through Major League Baseball. As for today,
You guys are more than welcome to stay if you like.
Andy Williams.
I would love to stay.
Well, Andy Williams, I want to thank you for joining me.
What song is he gonna sing?
It was an honor to be here. It really was. A
Thank,
lot of fun.
thank you for making the drive down, buddy. You were phenomenal. Guys and girls, you're listening to a very, very, very sad Mets fan here on HamiltonRadio.net on My Sports Radio. Your boy John and Tell, joined with Andy, Sal, Carl. We'll catch you guys later. MSR's out.
You're rocking with the newest radio show on Hamilton Radio, My Sports Radio.
Trainer right next to me is saying it. You may hear him. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. The heavyweight champion is taking the mandatory 8 count, and Coleman is as poised as can be in a neutral corner. Do the Titans have a miracle left in them? Touchdown, Titans! There are no flags on the field. It's a miracle. Tennessee has pulled a miracle.
My Sports Radio. And here's your host,